Chapter 19. A Random Encounter. As Toriel and Asgore finished hugging Asriel, they asked, "Since when you came back?" And he responded, 3 weeks. And they exclaimed, "Oh my gosh! Why didn't you tell us?" And Asriel added, "I wasn't ready. And they said, "That doesn't justify you. You should have told us." And Asriel, ashamed, answered, "Yeah. Sorry for that. Well, I got to go. And Toriel asked, "Where?" And Asriel responded once again, "To my new home. And then he rushed to his home. At 6:32 p.m., 1 hour later than usual, you came out of school because you had to hear some of the teachers and the new head teacher, that used to be the pre-head teacher, talk about the year, and when they finished talking everyone would be able to leave. You were looking for Asriel. You found him at the school exit. You both went back home. While talking, you noticed that Asriel's face looked like he was worried, so you asked him if something was wrong. He shyly responded, You see. Today when I went back to your home. I encountered Toriel and Asgore. And you exclaimed, "What?" And Asriel added, "Yes. Luckily they don't know where I live now. And you answered, "Yes." After a few minutes of talking you reached your house, but as you did, you noticed something awkward. Toriel and the others were in front of your house. Toriel and Asgore knocked on your door, but fortunately there was nobody inside, so no one could open the door. You and Asriel hid behind a fence that separated your house and your neighbors. Afterwards you looked several times to see if they were gone. They finally were. You and Asriel rushed to your house, but before you could a familiar voice said, "Found you," and then you both turned round and saw that it was Sans. Sans asked, "Asriel, why are you hiding from us? Aren't we friends?" "Same goes for Y/N. And Asriel exclaimed, "Long story," and grabbed you by one arm and rushed to your home, but before he could make one step Sans grabbed you by your other arm, making him stop. Sans with a low voice said, "I'll be here till you explain me the whole story. And then Asriel and you tried to escape, but it was impossible, so you didn't have another choice. Afterwards you both finished telling Sans the whole story and responding to his questions. He finally let you go, but with one condition. Asriel would have to visit the Dreamer house. He accepted, and after that, Sans left. You both came in your house and started to talk about what happened. Great. Now instead of enjoying to have you here all day again. I have to go back to that house. And you, a little bit blushed, added, "Don't talk like that, Asriel. They are your family. They missed you so much. You can't just ignore them. And Asriel responded, "You are right. Well, I got to go to the bathroom. And then he rushed to your bathroom. As he left you thought, how did they know that Asriel was here? Papyrus knew that Flowey lived here. So he must have told them. Yes, that must be. And then you went to your room." Chapter 20. Burning Up. You and Asriel went to bed, and the next day you got up at 10:34 a.m. 1.5 weeks passed since the day Sans told Asriel to visit him on December 30th on the afternoon, today. After you both had lunch you accompanied Asriel to the Dreamer house. Once you arrived you knocked on the door and immediately Toriel opened the door. She exclaimed, "Asriel. You came. I was preparing a butterscotch pie for you." And then Asriel came in and said goodbye to you. You decided to leave, but before you could, Toriel said, "You can stay here too. There is enough pie for both of you." And you, with a cold look, said, "No, thanks. I got to do other things. See you later, Asriel. And then you started to walk on the way to your home. When you were 3 blocks away from your house, you forgot that you had to buy some stuff for your mother for tomorrow, because tomorrow was New Year. The supermarket wasn't near, but you knew a shortcut with which you will be able to reach the supermarket very quickly. You walked into an open alley, but guess who you encountered? The Sans. As he noticed you, he leaned his hand on one wall and asked, "Why n? Didn't expect to see you. What brings you here?" And you said, "Oh, I'm going to buy some stuff for tomorrow. You know. New Year. And Sans added, "You hadn't told me yet. And you asked, "What?" And he continued, "You hadn't told me yet. Why do you want it to be alone? And you asked once again, "When?" And Sans kept up talking. "The day Papyrus and I bought you a game. After a few hours of playing it, you asked us to leave because you wanted to be alone. We asked you why but didn't want to tell us, so we said that one day you will tell us. And that day is today. And you responded, "You shouldn't care about what I do when I'm alone. I mean I don't anything to hide. And Sans added, "Then tell me what you were doing." You started to talk. When you left I jumped in my bed and stood there for a while. Then I had dinner and went to sleep. And as soon as he heard that, Sans lifted up his head and with one glowing eye he shouted, "You soda." And you, afraid, stepped back. Then Sans said, "Forgive me. I guess I've been watching too much anime. And you asked, "Anime?" And Sans added, "Higurashi no Nakukura to be specific. And after he finished saying that he approached to you and whispered, "Maybe you are not my brother's boyfriend, girlfriend anymore. But I still want to be a friend. Give me a hug. And when he stopped talking, you both hugged. At the moment you finished the hug, Sans said goodbye to you, same you did. Finally you reached the supermarket, you bought the stuff and went back home. But when you arrived you saw something terrible." It was 5:20 p.m. so Asriel thought that it would be time for him to leave. He told that tutorial and she said, "Okay, son. But first I got to do something in my room." He answered, "Okay." And then she left. Asriel sat on the sofa with Sans. He asked him, "Hey Sans, do you know why Undine and Alphys aren't here?" And Sans responded, "Long story. Undine died. And Asriel reacted, "What? When?" And Sans continued, "A month ago I think. However. Because of her death. Alphys became depressive and there is no way for us to make her feel better. It's worrying. Don't you think so Asriel?" But by the time Sans finished saying that Asriel was already going to Alphys' room. "Alphys?" he asked while knocking the door. There was no response so he did it again but once again there was no response. "I'm coming in. And then he entered Alphys' room. The lights were off and the window was closed with its blinds down. Asriel turned on the lights and saw Alphys in her bed under the sheets. Asriel sat next to her and said, "Hey Alphys. I know how you feel but this is not how things work. You must go on. You must." And Alphys said from the sheets, "You must understand that my life without Undine has no sense. And before Asriel could think of something to say to Alphys, Toriel shouted from the living room, "Asriel, I'm ready to go." And then Asriel got up and said softly to Alphys, "You can do it. And he left. He came out of the house and Toriel accompanied him to your house. In 30 minutes he arrived at your house's block, but he suddenly noticed that you, your family and some neighbors were in front of your house that was burnt. As they arrived to you he asked, "What happened?" And you answered, "Our house burned up. And Asriel exclaimed, "Oh no. Where are you supposed to live now?" And Toriel suddenly said, "If you want to, you and your family can stay in my house until yours is totally repaired." And as your parents heard that, they said thanks to Toriel and she told them that it was nothing. You, Toriel, Asriel and your family went to the Dreamer house. After Toriel presented everyone except Alphys and Papyrus to your family, they and Asriel went to sleep to the guest room. You decided to also go, but before you could Sans grabbed you and said, "Can you sleep in my room please? With me," and you exclaimed, "But there is no space," and Sans added, "No problem, Papyrus isn't here tonight. While dragging you to his room. Once you were there, you jumped into Papyrus' bed and tried to sleep, but before you could Sans said, Don't worry. I won't try to rape you like my brother. And then you chuckled a bit and said, good. And then you fell asleep. While you were sleeping, Sans thought, I won't try to rape you like my bro. At least not today. The next day, when you woke up, you noticed that Sans was in your bed hugging you. You freaked out, checked if you were naked. Good thing you weren't. You, now relieved, woke up Sans and told him why was he hugging you, and he said, I had a nightmare. So I decided to sleep with you. And you said while getting up, aren't you a bit too old for nightmares? And he said, how old do you think I am? And you responded, a million years. And after you finished saying that, you left the room. You went to the bathroom and washed your face and then went to the kitchen to have breakfast. After having breakfast, you went to take a walk. Sans and Asriel decided to go with you. 20 minutes later you came back and had lunch. After that you went to Sans' room and started to think about New Year. Will we only disturb here tonight? I might ask Toriel if it is okay for us to stay here for tonight. And then Sans came in. He noticed that you had a quite serious face, so he asked what was wrong, and you replied, is it okay for you if me and my family stay here tonight? I mean, I think we will only disturb you. And Sans interrupted, of course it is okay. We are friends, remember? If you weren't here it would be boring. And you added, okay, thanks. And Sans added, you are welcome. Hey. I got a surprise for apostrophe ya. And you asked, what is it? I rescued your favorite fight game from what remained of your house, and you reacted, really? You are awesome. And Sans added, I know. Now let's play. And then he grabbed you by a hand and ran to his console. He put the game in and then grabbed two controllers, one for you and one for him. Finally you started to play. While playing you were talking. I'm glad to have you here. Sans said, yeah, me too. You responded, do you have plans for tomorrow? Sans asked, and you answered, no, but. And Sans once again asked, but, and you continued, but I'm going to bed too late tonight because I'm going to see the fireworks that will be launched tonight with Asriel. And Sans reacted, alright. And after that you both focused on the game. In the game, Sans unleashed over you a death combo that made you feel like a noob. You said, you are pretty good at this game, and Sans added, I guess so. I'm going to my room. And then he left you alone. You kept playing. A while later your father arrived from his job with. As Gore. They were talking about. Flowers. Everything seemed very strange, so you asked them, what is up with you? Asgore is going to show me some gardening secrets. Your father responded, even though you need magic to use them. And then your father and Asgore laughed, then they went to the garden. You felt curious, so you went with them to the garden and saw lots and lots of flowers. Asgore said, YN, I was showing your father these beautiful flowers. Here, give them to Asriel, he will love it. And then Asgore gave you the flowers. You thought that your father and Asgore now were kinda like. Best friends? You went with Asriel and gave him the flowers. As he saw them he hugged you and exclaimed, how cool. Give them to me. And then he grabbed the flowers and made a necklace that he put on your head. You decided to keep it. At 8 p.m. you all had dinner. Then at 12:01 a.m. the fireworks started. You and Asriel decided that it was time to go to your spot to see the fireworks, but before you could leave Sans stood in your way and said, hey, where are you going? And Asriel responded, to our secret spot to see the fireworks. And Sans asked, that sounds cool. Can I go too? And you answered, I'm sorry, but. This is something between Asriel and me. Sorry. I promise we will hang out tomorrow as you wanted. And then you left while waving your hands to Sans. He ignored you. You two immediately reached the place that Asriel called my spot. From the you saw every kind of fireworks in every color. At that moment Asriel approached to you and said, let's start the year with a kiss. And you accepted, but when your lips were about to touch his, You heard a shout, Y/N. And turned round and saw Sans, your family and the others, even Elphys. They all sat down next to you and Asriel. Asriel whispered, they appeared just when we were going to kiss. And you responded, it's okay, we can hang out tomorrow. And Asriel answered, but you promised Sans that you would hang out with him. And you replied, oh. That is right. And after that you all stood in silence and watched the New Year fireworks.
Well, I do hope you enjoyed the videos so far and video game content. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and leave a comment down below. And I noticed 40% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. If you can, please subscribe to the channel. It'll help me and help the channel grow. Until next time, goodbye!